getting off at the off-ramp at Sunset here. Getting off, he's on the off-ramp now, coming up the off-ramp at Sunset. Lots of people at the overpass at Sunset, and possibly here will be a westbound turn en route to Brentwood. And he looks like he's in the left lane now, making a left turn. The intersection's free and he's clear, and now making his left turn westbound on Sunset.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 4, Stranger Than Pulp Fiction. It is the 30th anniversary of the movie Pulp Fiction. It's also the 30th anniversary of the O.J. Simpson chase, which we just saw a little clip there that I included as part of the parody of the storyline. Kind of rolling with here. And speaking of storylines, we got the script. And welcome. I understand there's a lot of live streams going on tonight, and I didn't think Wednesday was a big night, so I thought maybe wasn't going to be interfering with anyone, but it seems like they might be interfering with me. But regardless, got a little bit of an episode here, and we're going to get right into things. First, I'm going to share my screen with you here, and I wanted to... Got the main page, Pumping Vinyl here. And, you know, I do parody stuff. Like I said, I'm no Marius Stark, but, you know, shit. I had to count them up and how many actual... Not all of these are parodies. Like, me and Rojas spinning records ain't a parody. But, yeah, no, I've been doing a lot of parodies and kind of started off when Stark went on a break there. I kind of picked it up a little bit. And it was actually with this one right here, this zip lining with Fancy Pants. And I need to bring this up specifically because in the description it says March 1st, 2024 was when this was created. And this was kind of, I think I explained in the first episode that I did this parody to sort of get back at Fancy Pants for doing the gay sex scenes on us. And so I took this is actually, this is the Fancy Pants page I pulled this from. Rachel dropped the link to this on Rachel's Ghost. I think it was on like a February 26th episode. And I took this and totally parodied the hell out of it because I didn't think we were ever going to see Mark's face. But I took that and, well, that same day, well, we got the Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion account. We got the Denise parody, which I don't like to look at. And then we got, you know, the parody right down here. It's only 8 seconds. And then we got a video called The Confession here. So a total of like, a minute and 4 seconds worth of content and a parody of my relative, Denise. Well, anyways, join March 1st, 2024, and that would be the same day as this Fancy Pants zipline meme. So I find that very telling in the connection of this whole scenario we are in right now. Well, anyways, hope you're following along there. So I wanted to point that out, but then also, I guess, let me go back into share screen because I noticed something rather interesting the other day. And I guess I had subscribed to Mark Lassman just to kind of keep up with him and checked the site one day, and that's what popped up. And I think this may have been like maybe early, mid last week. And I was like, oh, that's peculiar because now this deletes every single chat that was in Rachel's Ghost. And I guess I don't know why. I mean, I don't talk to him. I've never really even ever talked to him. So I don't know why he would have deleted his main account, but he is still running around on the Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion. So, and he's still around in the same style, same fashion that he was in when he was running Rice Patties Jr. Funny thing is I wanted to mention Rice Patties Jr. because it does seem like we might not be mentioning that name very much anymore. Rice Patties Jr., are we forgetting about that? And I just wanted to remind everyone the sort of philosophy, you know, kind of like picking on us, making us look gay. That was sort of the main theme of things. Not a lot of humor in it, you know. That's the thing. The only thing I can really remember from the whole project was him putting us in gay sex scenes. And then I did mention the positive vibes. Let me talk about that for a second, because I created that. Okay, first off, no, I changed my Discogs account to positive vibes. And that was to catch Fancy Pants. And it worked. Well, I mean, I was onto them anyway. And so when I changed it to positive vibes, I knew he was going to go to my Discogs page, make a parody of it, make a summer theme parody, which he did. It's very predictable. And then went around and I saw the whole agreeable conversation kind of going on, like in David Bianco's Safe and Sound Texas audio excursion chat. But no, that Positive Vibes series was to sort of set up this whole scenario. And in that first comic that I did with Brad Teal is in it, and then Concert Buddy I feature in it as well. And it's just to tell the story and get this stuff started, because I was really starting to break. We were all starting to break this story right when that Positive Vibes thing. And I sort of like, it's just cheesy. I probably got to find a new name for my Discogs now too. But no, that was just to, like, you know, part of my investigation. You know, I was onto the guy. But I want to talk about, let me talk about that Davy Strange Name parody on this series, is Stranger Than Pulp Fiction. I'm not going to pull it up again, but I just want to point it out. That as a whole is a joke on the Rachel's Ghost narrative of me. So, like, for example, when a new when a new fake account or parody account, new account pops up, everyone accuses me of being the new account, no matter what, no research in general. And so that's what I think Davey is sort of trying to say there, is when he connects me to every single fake, you know, Fancy Pants and I'm Jack's Music Corner too. That's what everyone's saying. So I sort of also view Davey's parody on me as sort of like a parody on the Rachel's Ghost narrative. That's very important here, because part of his parody was asking, you know, say, Mark Lastman, I have a case here built up for you. And you guys notice that Mark completely ignored him. Well, under the VAGINYL account and the Rice Patties Jr. account has always dissed Davy Strange Name. And so I think it was, you know, that parody looked really weird to me. And I think I mentioned on the previous live stream that, you know, one of them, I wasn't offended by that parody. I mean, I just thought it was like, you know, I could see the joke as soon as I saw it. So, like I said, I've had Davey make a few parodies on me, so I know how it goes. With that said, I want to talk about the most viewed Davy Strange Name video, and that is the Michael 45 controversy on why he left the Rachel's Ghost crew. And it's very important because it's very, very telling of the character of Mark Lastman. So before I start, I am going to play some clips from him. I'm not going to play like only just like a few minutes here, and I'll include this in a link in the description here. But you know, this is like Davey's most viewed video, and this I think occurred around a year ago, if I'm remembering right, or if I'm saying that stuff right. But no, I actually just watched this for the first time. I had no idea, you know, what kind of went on here. I maybe looked at this one day and thought this was a diss on Michael 45. I don't know, but watching the video, quite the opposite. So this, I would even say, I mean, this happening a year ago, I mean, this is the first exposure that we've ever really seen of Mark Lastman. So I'll go ahead. I'll put the link in the description. It's VC number 123, and I think it's also VC number 127 on the Davy Strange Name page. And I think part 2 is more like parody, but I'm going to play some clips from each video. Not very much of it, but I'll go ahead and get it started. I guess first I could bring up these comments here. And I'm just going to go through a little slide of about a minute. And a lot of crazy stuff here. We got, they don't call M45 leader. They call him Mike Führer, says Mark Lastman. And M45 responds that he isn't unworthy of a human being. And I think almost nobody should complaint about Dobbs. I think that might be coming up here. But, I mean, you will see here that Mark Lastman, I mean, this is quite telling of the character who he is. He says here, I am only in trouble if I give a shit. And that, to me, is very telling of, like, you know, what we see in Rice Patties Jr. He's very unapologetic, VAGINYL, very unapologetic. I would even say the same character is reflected, like when he's using the Denise photo. But, you know, here he mentions all the M45 psychopaths are out today. So it's like he's completely unapologetic of this. And, you know, I mean, he owns it, I guess I could say, at the very least. But here, the Rice Patties are a very nice time of year. Gentle winds, soft music. So, I mean, he's very arrogant there. And I wanted to include that comment where he mentions the Rice Patties because, you know, he ended up calling his page Rice Patties Jr. But I'm going to go ahead and play this first clip of about a minute here.
Hey, they never find anything there.
No, they don't give a fuck. I got
okay, that's a really good comment. 45 says, sorry, you've just arrived as things are beginning to heat up on the old channel. Please, folks, as is normal with this live stream, please contact your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your nephews, and nieces, and bring them all here. That's what you wrote, Mark. They don't call me, don't call M45 leader. They call him my Fuhrer. I think almost nobody should ever complain about Dobbs again.
Oh, no.
That's
okay,
a good comment.
Hold on.
Hold
on.
Mark.
I can complain about Dobbs because he attacks me directly, so I can complain about him. So,
okay, complain for.
You have an issue.
Direct?
If you have an issue with Mark, go to Mark.
Now, Rob has Dobbs. So this is a good question because a lot of people are confused by what's happening. Has Dobbs, and I like to call him Dobbs. He's friendly and he's a big contributor here.
He's a lot of money, Rachel.
All right, so I mean, you see there, this is about probably a little over a year ago. Rachel says, good comment from M45. And Rob responds with, if you have an issue with Mark, go to Mark. And I wanted to point that out because that's certainly what I did. And that was probably a few weeks, good 2 to 3 weeks before I put that first video up. We were really, I mean, hi, Mark is definitely calling you out. Anyways, so funny how actually I did, you know, if I had an issue with Mark, I went to Mark. And even on that final day when Mark is in my comment section trying to be civil, Rob is now calling that blackmail on me. So I wanted to point that out. I mean, I think it's pretty evident that, you know, Rob's in defense of his buddy back then. I mean, I really, truly think those comments are right up there, or actually, it really, not only do they speak of his character, but it's right up there. Anything worse than anything on the Rice Patties Jr. page, I would say. And here we are a year later. Anyways, I guess I have a comment here from Johnny Paranoid, who I've never seen you in the VC here, but talk about some music. Well, you know, I guess I was just checking the VC live streams here. I got some important business I got to talk about, but it looks like The Waxed has a live stream where he's talking about jazz again. He's got 97 viewers. You can go on over there. And, you know, I would love to start talking about music here shortly, you know, when a certain individual can kind of get his act straight and to move right along. And this next clip is from, I guess, a discussion between Alex, Rachel, and Rob. And, you know, I guess Alex is a new face here in this thing. And I guess I have been kind of onto him a little bit, kind of what he speaks of. And he did mention the MK Ultra mind control, which I thought was a little funny. He's into conspiracy theories. I'm thinking, well, he mentions the Clinton body count here on this one. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip.
Hey, you ever heard of like the Clinton body count? You ever heard of that?
I'm well versed in it. Absolutely.
I was thinking today that maybe we should make the Rachel's body count, because I just see so many people don't come on this show anymore, you know?
Okay, go like name one.
M45 for one.
Okay, well, yeah, but that's not because of me. Now you understand that's not because of me.
So whose count is he under? Would that be the?
He's under Mark Glassman killed him.
Okay.
Mark Glassman. I'll name the name. Mark killed the 45.
Yeah, you're right. The more I think about it, the names I'm thinking of, it happened on your show, but it wasn't
but
you.
I'm not
Like
the
you weren't.
center focus of
Yeah,
the,
you're
of
right.
the conflict.
All right, so maybe that's not a good idea then.
He is a good one. The rank in the obscure. But he's still
That was you.
Yeah, that's me. But you know what? He used to show
Oh,
us
well,
a good
wait.
platform
What
for
happened? What happened with Ian? I don't know.
He comes in, he kind of hangs in the peanut gallery more than anything else, right?
Yeah, but what happened to stop him from coming up?
Listen, Lastman, this is not a time to double down. This is horrible.
I will say this. That whatever Lastman did, he gave Michael an easy out. You know what I mean, Rachel? I think it was inevitable. It was inevitable that he.
Okay, now, well, you were also a friction point, right?
My only issue with Michael is him coming up here and
let's name some of the people that Rob. Like, if you want to ask about the show, Dickie, a lot of Rob has cost a lot of people just to say fuck off. I'm not going there again. Okay, let's.
I know. I was on that list for a while.
Okay, now what happened? How did you work your way through that, though?
Okay, here's the thing. If you don't have like a personal, this is totally honest. If you don't have like some sort of personal relationship outside of this stream, it's kind of like anything goes, and you can harbor resentments that maybe don't need to be harbored. And so when me and Rob had that whole doxing incident, I reached out to him. I had a conversation with him offline
about that, and I knew you were hurt by it.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm easy to.
I don't know why he would dox you like that. It's crazy.
I'm real easy to like point if I've done something wrong, then I'll for sure own up to it. I think a lot of people don't have that characteristic, so then it's kind of like a mute point.
When Rob TP'd your house, I thought that was the straw where we may have lost you. We might have lost you forever at that point, Alex. Because the house, it took a week to clean it all up. I mean, that guy knows how to do it.
All right, so I'm unaware of the whole doxing issue between Alex and Rob, so I'm not going to really go there. But I do want to mention that Rachel acknowledges that Mark Glassman is the one who killed off Michael 45. And then you'll notice a comment there where I forget what comment Mark throws up, but then Rachel chimes in there, this is not the time to double down. I did want to mention that Rob says that Mark was giving Michael 45 an easy way out. I mean, we all know how Rob sort of tries to dodge things, dodge the truth, or, ignore things. I think this is, such a coward thing to say, an easy way out on a comment like that. I mean, what was Lastman doing? He was calling Michael 45, the Fuhrer, very anti-Semitic remark, and especially for, is he Jewish? He's Jewish. So people are saying, and I guess, I have seen that, Jews play the old, anti-Semitic joke. And is this okay? Or, I mean, is this something like, we hear black people say the N-word, and I tend to turn my cheek when I hear that. I tend to think jokes about the Holocaust are pretty tasteless, and especially if you're Jewish, and especially if you're accusing like every citizen of Germany to being like, a Nazi. I think shit like that gets ridiculous, and I sympathize with Germany, and they're innocent citizens who have to deal with comments like that. Well, anyways, guys, do go check out that Davey Strange Name video, part 1 and 2. Very telling story, probably one of the biggest stories out of the last few years in the VC. But I'm going to play Michael 45's reaction here.
I could even get away with saying that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I don't want to participate in an environment like that. And that's what disappoints me, that in my opinion, it's too often that on your channel nowadays is an environment of, for example, as you due to the events thought. For me, for example, when it comes to Mark Lastman, he's a good example of yeah, in a way, a victim of these things. I don't feel comfortable with anymore, because if a decent person like Mark Lastman thinks that this kind of comment is appropriate in this context of this show, then
yeah,
there is something wrong with it.
Really good point. And try and deal with personality conflicts that do happen from time to time. The latest do occur: Vinyl, Richie, and Rob. Vinyl, Richie goes and does talk on somebody, does a video. That upsets Rob. Rob lashed out because Alex Dickey, who's very good at mixing it up, got Rob going, and then Rob went after, it was like, here's a bone. He threw it in front of Rob. Rob went at it so hard and fast. Richie just went, what the fuck? And that's what happened today.
All right, guys, so do go check out those 2 videos. I think it's very telling of his character, and I wish I had seen those before I kind of got into it. At the same time, the very fact that we figured that out, and I had no idea of that, pretty wild stuff. But, and then I guess, I don't blame Davey for not totally jumping in on our side, because then it might make it seem like, or, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pick up where I left off on the last live stream. Now, I mentioned on the last live stream I was going to be done trolling him or whatever, but I guess I saw that night Wax and VAGINYL hanging out there, and then Arnie had left a comment, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll go in and throw in some jabs. And gosh, I mean, we had Rob out of there real quick, and I think even Tomato made a comment that, Rob couldn't even put up with. But with that said, I'm going to play a clip here.
Sarah, if a guy wears the same clothes day in, day out, is that a turn off? Dressing like a teenager at middle age. Whatever.
All right, so I was just throwing that comment up for an example. But yeah, no, we were kind of battling out with Wax and VAGINYL, and then, Wax left VAGINYL hanging there, and we were sort of beating up on him, but I guess it's all right. But I guess, I don't know, sort of bothered Wax there for quite a few days, I guess up to a week there even, because the other day on Rachel's Ghost, I'm going to show you a little speed date. You may have seen it in one of my parody shorts here.
Hi, Wax. Is this more unsolicited advice?
No. Oh, then they're going to speed date again. Let's speed date.
What unsolicited advice? No, that night when I was going after the group of morons in your stream, like Arnie Zanzibar, who initiated involving you in our thing, and then I said, well, I was just emulating him to show how stupid he was. But you took it as me trying to get you involved in our comments. It wasn't that. I was just privately going after.
Are you qualifying yourself to me, Wax? Are you trying to qualify to me?
No,
You're qualifying.
No. Here's what you're doing right now. I have well-documented behavior of how I am here. I don't bow to anyone, and I don't need anyone's approval. I'm just trying to be on the same understanding as you. So what you're doing is qualifying me. All I'm trying to do is say, I'm out to get the morons. I'm not out to involve you in it. So that's what I'm
great, Rob. You're hurting a real girl. I hope you're happy. This is why you've got no success with ladies.
Shut up, Mothball. This is what she's doing. I have a well-documented behavior of how I am, Sarah. So I don't need to qualify how I am to anyone. I'm just trying to be on the same level that I have no interest in involving you in nonsense. I'm just trying to show these morons for who they are. That's all. And you're banning them. That one of the most horrible people is the P code dude.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just going after all these morons who decided to come into your stream and cause nonsense.
See, I guess so by telling her that he's going after all the morons, I guess by every time Rob comes in there, Sarah's supposed to know that he's going after a moron. So if that's your way of stamping us out, gosh, I think that's pretty cheap. Why don't you just ask her for a wrench, man? To help you out a whole lot better. But anyways, yeah, no, I guess Gone But Not Forgotten, blocked from Raging Tomato. Alex Dickey mentioned something about MK Ultra mind control. I think the one who's under mind control right now is Sarah the Raging Tomato. Like, if you can get somebody blocked from a live stream that's not even going on, well, pretty impressive, I guess I'll just say. But anyways, I'm going to play this next clip. This is from, you guys remember the Brad Teal video I did. I'm not going to play that clip for this video, but you saw the parody short. This is from that same day. And this is Norman Maslov talking about personal information and praising Concert Buddy. And I want to play this here for this episode. So.
Concert Buddy's in the house. We love Concert Buddy. It was fun meeting Concert Buddy. You were able to meet Concert Buddy live. Now, you've met Concert Buddy a couple of times now.
He's the nicest guy. He's a great guy. But what's great, he is like a sleuth.
Yes, he is.
I love the sleuthing he's done. And the real names that I heard from him of the bullshit asshole tweakers, I heard that real names, real job, real places they work. So if they fuck with me, man, I'm going after them. So
I don't know. That sounds like a threat if I ever heard one. But I mean, there you go. I mean, instead of calling him Doxing Buddy, he says he's a sleuth. Gosh, I don't know, man. But then if they fuck with me, I'm going after them. So, gosh, I don't know. I think it's something to worry about there. Wanting and acquiring your personal information, your employer, your first, middle, last name. I don't know. I don't know that I like that going on in the VC. And I don't know how I feel about a 35K sub guy putting a guy, a sleuth, as he calls it, up in a high regard, Gosh, I guess I did that here recently, didn't I? Well, I guess I was kind of doing that to get back at you, and you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But we're going to go ahead and play. This is the next day, June 13th. And speaking of Sarah under MK Ultra mind control, I'm going to play this 5-minute clip here. And I might take a bit of a break here at the moment.
All right. Thor's doing great. Who's not coming on? And the one I'm worried about right now more than anybody is young Brad Teal. Okay, Rach, reporting back. Pretty sure I already blocked Cotton, went back to remove, and their comments were already removed. Think I did that night, maybe. Either way, it's handled. Yeah, this is no good. This.
Okay, now what happened? Can you explain that comment?
Well, yeah, I went over to Raging Tomato, as is my habit, to watch all the excellent episodes of Sarah Raging Tomato TV show, which is great. But then the Cotton guy, the pre-code, he's going, "Oh, you're Williams, you're bad," and he just goes after me every time. It's just so hurtful. And it made it not fun. So now Sarah's gone and blocked Pre-Com, so he doesn't come on and spurge on me anymore.
Is his name Pre-Com?
Yes, it's Mike.
Really?
He's a Jehovah's Witness.
Hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. Here's the deal. The most despicable person I've ever come across is that dude.
Yes.
Because you say what you want about like Billiam. I don't believe Billiam's racist or anything.
No.
That dude is racist. He hates himself so much that he applies that to everyone based on who they are. Like, it's not just he hates me because I'm a Jew, I think, right? Or what am I?
Yeah. It's gay people, Jewish people.
But for someone who has a toupee, has to pay a mail order service to send a bride to him, marry them, cancel his channel, start a new channel, change his name, do all this stuff. Is a freaking he's probably watching now with his pants around his ankles.
And that's a horrible. Where's Brad? Okay, now so you went to Raging Tomato and saw pre-code. VAGINYL was initially blocked on the program, but then we learned he's a good boy, full of hope and dreams and vision for a better world, PB Doll. No, it's a bad point. It's a bad point because Pimentel's making the same mistake I made when it came to Vaginal. And Vaginal became one of our most beloved vinyl community members. He is doing great content, gifted content about on the William Pumping vinyl.
Whatever you say about Vaginal, Patrick, he did a stand-up thing.
Okay. Yeah, he stand up.
He went on Borden, came up, didn't show himself on camera, but his voice, and said, "Look, people, I'm not Mark Glassman." And then he took that snippet and posted it. So he's trying to, I don't know,
yeah,
by
yeah, Rob. I mean, you're all big on Schnee, but what about poor Vaginal? I mean, that's just.
Hey, Vaginal, can you do me a favor and make a thumbnail so I can judge you, please?
Now stop it. Now, just getting clarified on your hypocrisy. There's no hypocrisy involved, Pimentel. Vaginal, just because you got your little nose all put out a joint because of a great YouTube vinyl community member called Vaginal, audio excursion in Texas, by the way.
Oh, wow. I just got my comment blocked.
What happened, Harry?
Well, Rich says Rach Vaginal stinks.
Yeah.
So I replied, a good douche will solve that.
And a good douche will solve that. Yeah.
You won't let me post it.
Tomato, thank you, Sarah. Bless Sarah. Really love you, Sarah. Thank you. Okay. It is laughable that people are championing that dude for posting videos saying I'm not Lastman. Well, what is the problem, Pimentel?
Well, he's not.
He's not, Pimentel. Boy, Pimentel, you're becoming so increasingly sensitive. You're like a groovy Lisa to me now, Pimentel. You're like a groovy Lisa. Go ahead, Massey.
Okay, this is one for your side. The Supreme Court rejects a political activist's attempt to trademark the phrase Trump too small.
Okay.
That went to the Supreme Court? That's hysterical.
No, the Supreme Court is hysterical.
Well, yeah, we know that.
The fact that they took that case.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. But, you know, I'm surprised, really, because, I mean, Trump doesn't own that name solely, you know.
Hold on. You are Mark Glassman. We're all a little bit of Mark. We all have a little Mark Glassman.
We are all Mark Glassman. Haven't we learned anything from this? We are Mark Glassman. This is like Billy Jack.
Yeah,
we are
hanging out with right. And so you'll see there, Patrick upset, Vaginal not banned, calls Rachel a hypocrite, and I don't blame you, Patrick. I mean, I've seen people getting their wrench taken away for less, so. And I think this is just more proof that Rachel knows who he is, and they are working to protect him. Because Rachel's ignoring every rude thing that he's ever done, every personal thing, every personal attack. And I showed in the last video how Vaginal went up to in Concert Buddies. Not my fake account. It was the wrenched Vaginal account in Surface Noise was attacking Patrick. So Patrick, I'm saying that so that you know that it's not me. I was done fucking with him on that fake account after that weekend. But you'll say that Rob says that he supports the Vaginal confessions. Well, I pulled that up already on the Vaginal main page there. And Vaginal only posts like that 55-second clip where he says, I just want to say I'm not Mark Glassman, that is all. We're going to get into that a little bit, but Patrick says that reveal is laughable. And, I think, Rob sort of mildly defends it. But, that's the thing. I didn't really speak on that. I was waiting to hear other people's reactions. And, if you guys watch the George Borden video that I put up on my page, in the premiere, I did say in the chats exactly how I felt about it. I never really heard anyone's reaction. And that thing occurred overnight, too, probably for a reason. But, you'll see Patrick said at the end there, I'm not Mark Glassman. Somebody praised me. And then they all joke, we are all Mark Glassman. So anyways, Patrick ends up bringing up the Michael 45 controversy. I'm going to play this clip here.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. How tough were you when the esteemed Mark Glassman upset 45? You went Scorcher's comments not even directed at you. Yeah, because it was anti-Semitic, okay? You can't do that.
I think you've really pissed Patrick off.
Patrick's got to suck it up. He's a buttercup.
I'll tell you what, just wish him a happy birthday and get over it.
I think Patrick is so upset. Let's start a whole controversy since Mike Ingroove didn't like the Vertigo as much as the other versions of Black Sabbath. That kind of,
Toughen up, but that's my word to you, PB Tom.
What I want to know is, what does Michael 45 think of the new Black Sabbath?
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah. What does he think of the new Black Sabbath? But you know what? It was good to see Patrick call out Rachel for the Michael 45 controversy. And it looks like I'm going to bring up these comments too. It looks like Alex Dickey brings one up too. Holy shit, it all makes sense. I totally forgot it was Lastman that drove M45 away. Maybe he is vaginal. That AI voice software is pretty advanced. We didn't see his face. And there are a few other comments, one from Scoozy and another one from Patrick. And, very, very interesting how I think bringing this up on Rachel's Ghost maybe reminded everybody of what happened last year. And, and I wasn't around for that. I mean, I am new to that. But anyway, Scoozy, we need Concert Buddy on this whole vaginal identity thing. I think, Scoozy, I think we're good here. But anyway, PB Thal, Poetry and Plastic does not have the give a shit to do any of this troll channel bullshit. And I do want to talk about that here because George Borden on during the overnight quote unquote confession from VAGINYL, George Borden, as a joke, like you can see as he says it, he says like poetry on plastic, and it sort of created like an echo chamber, because then I saw a few other people, like someone else on the screen actually said it, and then in Rachel's go someone else. When I saw that, I was like in belly laughter. I couldn't get over it. And I mean, I thought about it for a minute. I'll be honest, I did overlap the voices. It's not poetry on plastic, but I did think about it for a second. Do you guys really think poetry on plastic has like 12,000 subs? Do you think he would take the fall for a dude with like 45 subs who just is a chat room goon anyway, even as Mark Lastman? Anyway, I thought that was funny. But I'm going to play more clips from Patrick here. And very important because, I mean, Patrick is totally calling him out. And, VAGINYL goes around the VC and is a total prick. Well,
the Blue Note Tone Poet stuff. You pre-order something directly from the label. You expect it to ship before it comes out. Usually it ships the day of or after. Why, when you order, or Tom Petty?
This show needs less trolls and hypocrisy. Listen, PB Thal, if you just apologize to VAGINYL, you could have the biggest ally and a champion and a friend, like I do with my friend VAGINYL. VAGINYL is our friend, okay? And if the sooner you learn that, PB Thal, the more you're going to be popular. This is what's destroyed.
We're only 4 weeks away from the Mind Games Uber box.
Yes, it's coming soon.
Did you see that, Patrick? VAGINYL is our friend. And the more you learn that, the more popular you're going to be. I mean, that's just a formula of cancel culture right there. Convincing someone who's totally bad and saying that they're actually good and that you have to accept them. Well, I sort of like maybe see that starting to happen there, Patrick. I don't know. But anyway, it was good to see your comments there. Good to see you throw those out during Rachel's Ghost. And then there's another comment here that VAGINYL leaves. Or is it vaginal? Well, let's check out the comment.
Rachel, we're in a renaissance of accusing people with body parts. I'm
you,
sick of it. First it was hands, now it's ears. Next thing you know, it'll be feet. Right after
that Vag here. Vag, don't bug PB Thal, okay? You can't go after PB Thal. You're not allowed to
also I don't understand. It's not in the gallery. It's not Team Mike and Team Thor. This is
Thor. Don't you think that in your room it's going to sound brighter?
Completely subjective
You're going to have more highs.
What?
Don't you think that in your room?
So I guess they're not allowed to go after each other, you know. I mean, there's a good way to solve that, Rachel. Just take the wrench away, as you should. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, though. On to page 3 here. We are still on the same day.
Now listen, Vag, please be nice to BB Thal. He's been very.
I have one comment, and it's the only comment I'm going to say, and this will be the same comment I'm going to repeat to Vaginal every time he brings me up. This is it for you, Vaginal, because this is all the time you're worth to me. Is that you could disappear from YouTube tomorrow, and nobody would give a shit. Literally, nobody would miss you. Nobody would ask about you. You don't provide any content. You don't do anything. You piggyback on other people's comments. You don't have any thoughts of your own. So literally, this is it. Nobody cares if you disappear, dude. Nobody. So that's not being mean. That's just a fact. So that's all I have to say.
Vag, please don't attack BB Thal, okay? Rob, can you bring these two guys together with a word of peace? Because you're a good peacemaker.
Rachel, I don't know what's going on. Can someone show me a thumbnail so I can judge this?
Okay, well, listen. There's no thumbnail to be told. This is a transcendent issue.
Yeah, so I think Rachel's job to mediate between things is kind of a failed job, but you know, Patrick's very right. Nobody would care if Vaginal left the VC tomorrow and hasn't offered the VC anything between any account, any parody account, and then just seeing that stuff a year ago from the Michael 45 controversy. I mean, we don't really get a whole lot of record talk from you. But, you know, I guess I did see it here recently, and maybe, you know, you're trying to redeem yourself. I'm not sure what that's all about, but now, this next clip I'm going to play is towards the very end of the show where Alex Dickey says he's going to be in Toronto for a meetup and ask Vaginal if he'd like to meet. I'm going to play the clip.
See, everybody.
Vaginal, like I said, you don't matter. You can disappear tomorrow. Nobody will give a shit, Vaginal. Nobody will care if you disappear. Go away. Nobody cares.
Vag, please don't. I told you don't bug BB Thal. We've had history of problems and people doing that. Then they end up getting banned and stuff.
Hey.
Vag, don't get banned.
Hey, Vag, I'm going to be in Toronto next week. You want to hook up, man? You want to do like a vinyl community hookup down
there? Oh, God, it's not.
Boom?
That's not. Whoa, that's not Mark Glassman, Alex.
No, but he's in Toronto. I know that because he was at the Trey Anastasio show a couple of weeks back.
Vag is Canadian?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Well, that explains a lot.
Well,
yeah, so Alex Dickey actually mentioned that on Rachel's Ghost today, and I thought maybe Alice was going to jump up and talk about the Toronto meetup. So I don't know. Maybe Vaginal was there. Maybe he had something to say. But I found that very interesting, and then I was kind of looking forward to that here on Rachel's Ghost, but Alex did not show. So I'm sure we will hear about that very soon, hopefully tomorrow. But I guess I'm going to catch up with some comments here. I guess I saw maybe a few people in here. Welcome, Paul, Cycles Platters. And I saw you had a stream. I was sort of watching that as I was in preparation. We have Richard, and I'm not going to attempt that last name. But Conceit Buddy is the queen of doxers. Well, I'm the king of doxers, so I don't know. I'm just bullshitting with you guys, but there was something maybe I saw, maybe Ricefield said something, and the Vaginal Confessions. You know, if Mark were a clever man, he'd call it the Vaginal Monologues, but I'm sure he'll take that in the end. Well, we got a new person here. Based Oracle, where's the join link taper? Well, Based Oracle, I'm sorry to say, not going to be having you on my channel. However, with a $100,000 deposit, you're more than welcome to come up whenever you want. We're going to keep things moving here. So speaking of Base Oracle, I guess we have some comments from the Raging Tomato Show. And let me pull these up. I'm going to loop these here so I can read them. But let's see. This is from Debate Night, and this is just me trying to be civil with Vaginal. I know it's been really difficult to be civil. I asked him one time to remove the Denise photo, and this time I was asking him, I say, VAGINYL, I'm only asking you one time. Will you please remove your avatar and parody of Denise? And this is where he responds. I guess I'll just read this whole thing. No, it will only get worse, Bill. Just wait. You asked for this. This is what you wanted. And someone says, who the heck is Bill? And you know what? This is in Raging, and this is what VAGINYL is doing in all these chats. He's going around to all these Manosphere chats right now. And what this is, I think, late Friday night. And then there's some comments here from Saturday. I'm going to read these two. And he's going around the Manosphere saying, okay, you could probably get a miracle on the lawn for St. Louis. I'll buy you a beer. More on that. VAGINYL says, Pumping Vinyl looks like he does flight sims into the ocean. And I don't know what that means. He says it again here. He's actually said this a total of like 8 or 9 times. I have no idea what it means. It's not funny to me. I don't understand it. Anyway, I wanted to include this here. This is Assman Pants, who's not me. Now that Rob and Mark's ploy to use Blind Woman as an assist in their trolling of William has failed, can they both find something to do with their spare time? By the way, Rob, you got burnt on tomatoes, so I just wanted to get that in for Rob for a friendly reminder. But Zeb says Assman Pants was hidden by Safe and Sound VAGINYL audio excursion. I wonder why. But then here, you could probably get a miracle on the lawn in St. Louis. I'll buy you a beer. I think maybe I read that already, but or maybe I have that on loop still. Anyway, so the St. Louis thing. So the band Fish, who I'm not a fan of, is playing a weekend show in St. Louis the last weekend of July. And VAGINYL has asked me 3 times for a 1v1 in St. Louis, as though I'm going to drive to St. Louis. I mean, because that's 9 hours away, and that's to get to near to a Fish concert, which I wouldn't dare ever do. And we don't get a whole lot of last minute, that's for sure. But yeah, you know, here's the thing: is if he's willing to go to St. Louis for a Fish concert and he wants some sort of 1v1, I just assume he's going to take the trip to Omaha and meet me here. And he's just not saying it. This comment, flight sims into the ocean, I don't know what that's about. But you know, I was screenshotting a lot of comments, so a lot of them are just kind of unnecessary. It is more along the lines of trolling. Some I cannot show because it gets very personal, and I did show you some, like where he says it's going to get worse, Bill. You know, I think this shit is getting ridiculous. I mean, you're not being a troll anymore. You're just being a nuisance. You're just being the idea of being a troll is to be snarky and you know, even sneaky with your comments and stuff like that. But it's just like, you're just so obvious with everything you do. And you're excessive, and you just come off as butthurt. And this is what I said a few episodes ago. It's seriously time to take a break and remove that Denise photo, because that's what everyone sees. It's not just me at this point, because you use that photo and everyone knows. Oh, you're using the photo of William's relative. Even the people who don't like me notice that about you. And it says more about you than what you're trying to accomplish with it. Like you're trying to get this echo chamber like you were trying to do in the Manosphere, spreading all this rumors or whatever. I mean, I saw the stuff that you were posting. I don't want to repeat it. But I mean, it says more about your character when you go around to not even the vinyl community, a different area of YouTube, and you're trying to ruin my reputation from people who knew me from years ago, before I was in the vinyl community. Well, I don't know if you saw some of those comments. A lot of people weren't buying your shtick. Anyway, Sunday the 16th, Father's Day, and I premiered that. It was the George Borden stream from the previous Sunday, and they started talking about the VAGINYL account and trolling in general. And it happened overnight. You know, the George Borden show can kind of get, you know, a lot of filler in there, or like they'll get off topic. So I did try to condense that to, you know, something that we could all, you know, I wanted a good spot for the VAGINYL, you know, I guess I'll call it the most unbiased possible vaginal talk we could possibly have. One that doesn't include me. I do want to say this because I mean, if you've seen it, if you're watching this, you've probably seen it. But if you don't know anything about that, this whole vaginal shit, and you come to that video, and you're an intelligent person, you could figure out the whole vaginal mystery just by watching and listening to Stunty and George talk. It's very funny, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. As that premiere started, you guys remember when I called out? It was the account. It said 32 Mars 1, and it was like the fake Renee Kerman that I caught. And I did show that as evidence as it was changing even. So I must have caught it as he was changing it because the icon was Nathaniel Mars. The name said Renee Kerman. And then later that day showed up as 32 Mars 1. Well, 32 Mars 1 showed up in the premiere of the George Borden Stranger Than Pulp Fiction thing. And I got to bring this up because 32 Mars 1 was the fire account from the George Borden stream. And the next day, or maybe later that night, the 321 Mars changed to Robert Zimmerman. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read, starting from the bottom here, actually. Account created September 27th, 2023. I first recognized it as fire on May 8th during the George Borden show. I don't know what it was before that. Like I said, like, you know, this research and identifying didn't even start until May 8th. So we got here, the fake Renee Kerman, which was the same fire account, was converted to the fake Renee Kerman, as I shown in my evidence. Same account converted, fake Renee Kerman, late May. And then Mark Glassman, a quote right next to it, too. I also included the Mars logo with the Renee Kerman comment. But then also the 32 Mars 1, it says, "You don't know who I am." Well, I got a screenshot of that. And then later that evening, or maybe the next morning, it was changed to Robert Zimmerman for subscribers. And I knew that because I've subscribed to the account after it left that comment. And I did get a screenshot. These are both, he left 2 comments that got deleted. Well, the thing about Robert Zimmerman, I did put up the Rice Patties Jr. logo that we all see. And this was the quote on his main page. Bob Dylan quote, "I accept chaos. I'm not sure whether it accepts me." And this was a main quote that was used on the Rice Patties Jr. page, which, you know, I did actually, I might have that somewhere. I'd have to really dig it out. But now that that page is deleted, it's going to be a little bit hard to find stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, you know, defiant responses. Or wait, where am I at? I'm sorry. Okay, no. Fire account here. I'm sorry. Catching up here. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and play the first George Borden clip. And this is kind of like when the video for...
Get to see the, you know...
Like the people who start a civil war, there are the people who do the work. Who does the work in the U.S.? I'll give you a parallel that is a bit problematic. George, be with me for 1 minute.
I will. I just want to say, William, I see you backstage. I'm so fucking bored with you right now. I will let you up if you just fucking put your fucking TV on, put your camera on. I'll let you up, dude. That's how boring you are to me. You fuck. Come on. Get to see the, you know,
like the people.
All right, so I got to mess with that loop button a little bit, but yeah, no. So George, right there, still accusing me of being vaginal. Well, I actually had a phone call with George the other night. Good 45-minute phone call, and I'll go into a little bit of detail. I don't want to, you know, say private conversation. I don't want to totally reveal here on my channel, but I'm going to play this here too, because George literally thinks this is me calling in with a glove on. Like, why would I ever? Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to play the clip.
A lot of good fucking records there. All right, here we go.
George.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Let's all just take a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what the fuck is that?
It's William.
It's a big cock. Oh, Thumper.
Oh, crowing.
That's not William, by the way, but you know.
Who is it then, Stunty? Do you know?
What is this?
It's vaginal. It's not William. It's not William.
Vaginal.
Are you trying to tell me that you're falling prey to this idea that he's doing this fake hunt about who? Look, by the way,
it's the opposite.
So, okay, I don't know where George is getting this, because now I'm really thinking that George is involved in some sort of like, we got to cover for Mark now, because you guys remember now. Okay, in my phone call with George, I told him I'm not going to use this against you anymore. However, having a civil conversation, if I could talk tonight, talking civil with George ain't easy always. Anyway, so George actually thinks that I would call in with a glove on without showing my face, because I always show my face. Like why would I suddenly at 3 a.m. decide to call in and hide my face? I have no idea where George logic is coming from. Keep in mind, this is 3 a.m. George is on poor sleep, lack of judgment, poor logic, rational thought, and just like throughout. I mean, if you watch that video from Sunday, I mean, just a complete oblivious to facts, and I mean, just in general, just a poor lack of judgment from George Borden, and especially, I mean, we've said it enough times. I mean, why is he live streaming for 15 hours when he should be sleeping? And I mean, funny thing, I think a big reason why George live streams, why he keeps going is like, 40 people are still watching. Well, you guys know that PB Thal had a stream the other night, and he forgot to totally shut down, and it was nothing but a blank screen overnight. And I think Patrick finally noticed it at like 10 in the morning in Rachel's Ghost, and there were people still in there, in and out, chatting in a little bit, maybe like a dozen or so people. But overnight, it still had something between like 57 and 64 viewers, something like that. I don't know. That's overnight with nobody even watching. So what does that tell you, George? I almost wonder, if you said nothing and went screen blank, would 40 people still be watching you? Probably. I mean, you have 1,000 subs. Out of 1,000 subs, how many of those people just come to watch a live stream and just keep it on? I'm sure that there's a few people here watching it now who are just into live streams and chatting. Well, it seems to be a common theme in the VC. Anyways, I'm quite offended that George would think that I would parody Denise like that with a cell phone app, but I do want to say this, because we have been losing focus of who Rice Patties Jr. is. Well, how did that page start out to begin with? A lot of those memes were not, well put together, very thoughtless, and it was just like he was taking our heads and putting them into phone apps. Well, it did get a little bit creative there after a little while. I will give him some credit, but that's exactly what he's doing with the Denise photo here. And not only am I offended that you would think that I would put Denise's picture in a cell phone app, I mean, my parodies are just way better than that anyway. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, George, lack of judgment. I don't know what's going on with you, because you went from saying, Nick knows who VAGINYL is. I've heard your argument on what he meant, but both of you basically acknowledged that guy doxed himself. And so now I don't understand what this bullshit conversation is on a 15-hour live stream when you probably should have ended it at midnight anyway. Well, here's more evidence for me. So thanks, George. I'm going to go ahead and play the next clip.
Nick said that he knew who VAGINYL was on this very show, and that started this whole thing of him going, "You're suppressing the person that's doxing me." Nick doesn't know who VAGINYL is. We thought it was William. And I went, I know, okay. I went onto his show and I said to him, Nick just says that to the person that's trolling him to try to make them be scared. Remember, Nick, the nicest guy in the vinyl community. He's not, if he knew who you were, he'd come at you. He doesn't know who VAGINYL is. We thought it was you. So stop your investigation bullshit. Stop all the just fuck off. Jesus. Who is it, Stunty? Tell us. Is it you?
Obviously, it's not me.
Yeah. Being in two
that,
places
that would be
would have been cool.
That would be a little bit of beyond my.
Dude, I could prepare a fucking looped video and I could come in here with another account. And fucking have it right.
I have a live.
Yeah, so just the very fact that I mean, at least George is going back on this now. I mean, I guess I don't really have very much from Nick, but he goes from saying stop your investigation bullshit to then just saying, well, who is it? Stunty? Like Stunty's gonna know. I mean, that's what I'm doing, George, and that's what I said on the phone yesterday. And he asked me, like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I really don't need you to do anything for me. I mean, I know who it is. Anyway, I'll touch up on our conversation more towards the end, but Tokyo Record Style has been popping up here lately. And he mentions he thinks he knows who it is. Well, I'm going to play this clip here. It's a couple minutes long.
Come in here and tell us then, Tokyo. Come on. Tell us who you think VAGINYL is. Let's fucking break the story and get it out in the open because I'm sick of it.
I have a question for you. Or two, actually.
First, you shouldn't let a guy like that bother you, George. You shouldn't let a guy like that bother you, George.
No, it's not bothering me, Bob. It's not bothering me. It's just it's going on, and Nick is fucking. Nick is more tortured by this than I am. And Nick is a pretty straightforward guy. He's pretty nice, but he made this statement one time, VAGINYL, I know who you are, and I'm gonna, and that caused, and he's not gonna confront anybody. He's not gonna say anything. I'm tired of having this happen. And what you guys don't see is that backstage here, at least 15 times a stream, this guy comes back in the backstage, and then once he's back there, he goes into that back chat area, the private chat.
Yeah.
See, he said, Dawson, what's up from Niagara Falls? I'm in Northern Ontario.
Niagara Falls ain't Northern Ontario.
Can you ask George to unblock me? That's William.
Yeah, it sure seems like it might be him, man.
Why can't I chat? Okay, Stunty,
so you know who it is, Stunty?
It's weird that you keep. It's weird that you keep sort of standing up for him when you know it's not him, but you won't say who it is.
No, because I don't know who it is. I just know it's not William.
Right, but look in the back chat and then look at what I have to deal with every single stream. Yeah. I got to deal with this guy.
Well, that George, that's the danger of throwing a link in
who's trying to get William to go nuts.
It totally is.
Like, if you want to know what it is, it's someone who is literally torturing William.
That's no, it's not. It's not, because William's not tortured by it. William's creating content with it. He's creating content. Okay, he's creating. Oh God, Jesus! What are you? Some kind of? You're like an American. Are you softy? You little fuck.
Saboteur.
What's wrong with you?
No, I'm just saying that.
Stunty, I want to take you out back and fucking bend you over the fucking wood pile and spank you on the ass.
Yeah, so George here, complete lack of logic. I don't know what's going on. 3 a.m, shouldn't be live streaming at all. Telling Stunty he's going to take him out back when Stunty actually sounds like the one who's rational in this situation. Yet George is nuts. And in fact, it's funny. I mean, what did he say? I think there's even a Stark parody on this where 10,000 times worse than Trump. And this is a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about politically, and he has a show where 100 people draw in. And he's going to, here we are in an election year. Guys, don't listen to George. This guy don't know what he's talking about. Complete poor lack of judgment. Could look at a fact and just would sit there and like, that's not a fact. Let me look up the definition of a fact real quick. That's basically George mentality. Anyways, here, backstage at least 15 times in the stream. Okay, so yeah, he's bugging the shit out of you. And then he says, can ask George to unblock me? Then he says, that's William. Why the fuck would I do that? Okay? Here's what I do when I want to chat in at George's. Okay? I still have accounts that I can chat in with. But he's got my main account blocked. So if I ever have something to say, I'll just use another one of my accounts. Okay? And in fact, I guess I have a vaginal account still that I haven't changed over that I could use. So if I wanted to use my vaginal account, George, I could. But that's besides the point. Is that you keep calling me William. And he's complaining how he has to deal with it. Well, it's funny how he told me to stop my investigation bullshit because I'm trying to get all of us to stop dealing with it. That's what I tried to tell you on the phone. But Stunty says that vaginal is torturing William. And what does George say? William's not tortured. He's creating content for it. I mean, George, you are missing the point here. I'm fighting this battle. We had 4 people researching this. I have chosen to be the spokesperson. I am creating content because this is what Fancy Pants has given us. He's given us a great story, and I'm not making any of this up. I'm delivering you the facts. I'm delivering you the evidence. All right? And you can choose to ignore it if you want to. But what I'm telling you is that doing all this overnight and all these games that you played overnight make you seriously look bad. And I wouldn't watch your show after that. And to listen to you talk about politics, I'd be afraid. I'd be fact-checking you left and right. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play the next clip here.
Yeah, so this guy's another fucking weirdo. Like, you know.
Yeah.
No offense, William. I don't know the guy, and I'm not as tied into all this drama.
Okay, then let's. Who's vaginal?
I don't care.
I knew. I mean, he seems like a.
I care because he's constantly fucking trolling my show.
Yeah.
I understand.
So who is it?
People like that. I don't get people like that at all.
It's Fancy Pants or whomever. Like it's all these
Come on,
people.
man. You know, tell us who we are, for Christ's sake.
Who the fuck? Yeah, who the fuck is Fancy Pants?
George is all
I don't know.
upset here. George is all upset here. Come on.
I'm not. Look, I'm not really upset. But what I'm just
You're
saying is like it's like
just
why
it's a nuisance.
why
It's a nuisance.
why do we keep going along going, this sucks, but I don't want to do anything about it? If everybody just decided to fucking say what they know, then it would all be connected. But you have like 7 people from different channels going, well, I know a little bit, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to fucking. Like,
Did I
really?
George, I told you all I know.
Actually, that is right. Rachel
No,
does
it
know.
is right.
No, Rachel does know because she did have the email with this dude and was going back and forth with him. And there was some kind of weird, you'd have to ask Rachel about it, but I think she knows.
Well, Stunty wouldn't know because he's not friends with Rachel.
Yeah, so no, Jeff is right. Rachel and all those guys have direct contact with Mark. And this is all, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is a big protection job. But I mean, you'll notice here, George says, so who's vaginal? I care who's vaginal. He keeps fucking with my backstage. Well, he said in the same episode, he doesn't care and wants me to stop this investigation bullshit and stuff. And now all of a sudden he cares. Then he says, people are like, well, this sucks, but I don't want to do anything about it. Well, George, that's your mentality. That's you the last 2 months. I'm literally doing things about it, and you will just let him fuck with your backstage. Okay? Vaginal never fucked with my backstage because I blocked him. Okay? On 2 devices. And he never called in after that. Okay? It's that simple, George, but you allow him to annoy you. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for you at that, too. But I have to play this next clip here. This is a comment left by Vinyl and Kicks 86. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, the troll stream that I did back in January with Jason Rojas, the 3 original inspirations for that were Dead Wax 66, Fred Dobbs, and Vinyl and Kicks 86. Not the Wax. The Wax was the one, okay, when he did it, I was like, I think I can blow this up into something a little bit bigger. But Vinyl and Kicks 86, one of the 3 original inspirations for the troll stream, does not like me, never really liked me. I've tried to be civil with the guy, and I think we can get along for the most part. But you'll see, this guy don't really give a fuck about me, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll check his comment out here.
Wow. You guys are on the outs.
Only I am. I've been accused of being a fucking close friend with Rachel and Rob.
Well,
and yeah, whoa, I'm hurt. Like, fuck off.
George,
I
can
don't
I
care.
ask you a question that I think Jeff might agree with me on that? Like, what's the greatest?
Exactly. I don't have a problem with this fucking comment right there.
Yeah, so all I'm trying to say, guys, Vinyl and Kicks never liked me. George has already said it. He's full of shit. You know, this is just echo chamber shit. I have no idea why they think that I would even do this, but I don't talk to Vinyl and Kicks 86. Never seen him. Don't know his name. Not his friend at all. And I can't expect him to, you know, stick up for me for anything. He's always hated me. So I don't give a fuck. But this next clip I'm going to play is what's called The Confession, or as it's said on the VAGINYL page. It's like a less than a minute video. And before I play it, I mean, you guys, a lot of you, most of you, probably all of you have seen this. So I want to kind of slow down here a minute, because what is VAGINYL doing at the start of the show, or, you know, throughout the start of the show on the 9th? Trying to call in. He's harassing George. He's calling in his different names or whatnot. And then George lets him up on the screen where he shows the Denise parody with a glove on, mind you. He has a glove on this time. Well, after bugging George for, God, I don't know how long, a few hours, I guess VAGINYL decides it's going to be a good time to clear the name of Mark Glassman. I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is a 2-minute clip here.
Okay, I just have a quick. I really kind of ought to just stay out of this whole thing.
He's speculating, but here it comes.
I don't have it, but I do. I just do have one question. I have a question. This word doxing. Remember, like, what, 10, 15 years ago, there was some CIA agent whose wife or husband doxed. He got doxed or she got doxed by. So it was like a big. It was the time that word, if it wasn't already in the vernacular from Vietnam or something, it was the first time that, like, do you remember this?
Yep.
I think you're talking about the Vince Foster thing, right? Wasn't that the Vince Foster thing?
I don't think so. It was a woman. It was this. Anyway, the point is that
Hey, Brian. I remember. Yeah. Go ahead.
So
Can I
this
talk?
word doxed is I have a question. Is doxed in the?
Yeah.
Has it been in the YouTube nomenclature for?
Oh wow.
4 years.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Since when? Since when
Brian.
exactly? Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I want you to hold on for 1 second. We got a big news flasher. Go ahead. Safe and sound.
Hey, I just want to clear Mark Glassman's name. I'm not Mark Glassman. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, guys.
And you're not William.
And he's not William.
Are you poetry on plastic?
He didn't sound like William either.
No, that's not William. That's not his voice.
No. Wow. Well, he gave you a little bit of a soundbite there.
Wow, breaking news. Brian, did you see that? That's breaking news, right from Tokyo. It came via Tokyo through Sweden. Dawson, where are you located?
Been heard all around the world.
Dawson, where are you? Niagara Falls, right? Is that what you said? New York? Canada side.
Yeah, so that confession was 100% bullshit. And here's why. Okay, first off, it's not poetry on plastic. I already addressed that. But like I just said, VAGINYL spends hours bothering George backstage. Please unblock me. I just want to chat. Lets him on screen, shows the Denise parody, right? Well, then he decides to call in and speak. And what does he say? I'm not Mark Glassman. That's all I wanted to say, and hangs up. And then what does VAGINYL do for the rest of the night? Goes on to bug George Borden backstage for the entire rest of the night. And you'll see I have a few more clips that show that. But my question is if the real VAGINYL account wanted to get unblocked so bad, and that's why George Borden is being bothered every night, then why didn't this guy who called in to say I'm not Mark Glassman also say Will you please unblock me so I can chat? Wouldn't that make sense? Well, he doesn't, and he just hangs up. And the funny thing I want to say, the thing that I want to say about the person who called in, I think he's from Canada. I think it's probably someone Mark personally knows. Maybe it's a neighbor, friend, hand him the phone, or say, hey, will you click the StreamYard link and put this as your name and just say I'm not Mark Glassman. That's what I think. I don't think it's anyone VC, and truthfully, it's not important, but it was a completely blown cover. And I think it's embarrassing. And it happened overnight. And, you know, that's the thing. Is like, I'm investigating what I can. I had a conversation with George. I don't know if George is involved with this. I have not talked to Mark once. And whoever it is, I'm not going to sit here and waste time and try and figure it out if it's poetry on plastic. It's not poetry on plastic. Like I said, guys, no one's going to take, okay, poetry on plastic, 12,000 subs, right? Any lights going on, you know, Jazz Bums or Norman's channel or whatever, is not going to take the fall for a 45 sub guy who does nothing in the VC. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to be nuts, but anyways, moving right along. So next clip Brian is talking about, and you know, he put up on the screen, like, I think I know who VAGINYL is. I'm going to play this here.
Fuck authority, man. Fuck them.
No, I got to get back to it, but I just, yeah, it's fun to hang out. I want to just drop in and say hello. And
Brian, did you have a guess who VAGINYL is? You said you might have had a guess who VAGINYL is.
Yeah, I don't really want to speculate, but as soon as I want to.
It's Mark Glassman, right? It's Mark Glassman. It's Mark Glassman.
People, doxing seems to be like a vinyl community accusation. I don't hear this word in any other circle of friends, and it became on my radar through some people reaching out to me saying like, oh, like as soon as I came on, I started hearing the word doxing, and I was like, I'm trying to find the source of. I'm not trying to find the source. I'm just like, who got doxed first, and is that.
All right, so, you know, Brian, you know, no longer wants to share who he thinks it is, but he does mention, you know, the idea of who got doxed first, you know, something to consider. But George jokingly says, is it Mark Glassman? It's Mark Glassman, okay? And at this point, I don't think he's being serious. Like, notice the tone of his voice. I think he's sort of shouting that out as a joke. Well, I want to mention when I had a phone call with George the other night, and I'm going to get to how I got his number here later in the episode. But he accused me of recording the phone call with him, which I did not do. Which if I did, I'd be able to point specifically and pick it apart, which I can't do. But I can recall that he said this twice, 2 different times. First, he said, it's Mark Glassman. And he says that twice on the phone call. Then he also says on the same phone call, it's not Mark Glassman. So he said it is Mark Glassman and it's not Mark Glassman twice on the same 45-minute phone call. So this is my phone call with George. Well, a few more things I want to mention on that phone call. And like I said, I do want to keep private conversations as private as possible. But George is just driving me so nuts on this phone call. Anything but a civil conversation. And the funny thing is, before I called him, he sent me a text. It's like, if you even have the balls or something like that to call me. Well, I called him right away. Or actually, no, right before I called him, the text message that I sent him is like, we're both going to be setting our YouTube personalities on the shelf for this. Well, I don't think it really happened. But next clip's about 3 minutes here. And I mean, it's evidence of VAGINYL being backstage. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. So
I have reached out to William and I've said, let's be friends. Let's not fight on the TV.
Wait, to be fair, William reaches out to people he has an issue with. He does.
Well, right.
Unfortunately.
People he has an issue with. I reach out to people I don't have an issue with that I would like to continue.
No, but you just say that people you have an issue with, you reach out to them rather than to air it publicly. You just say that.
No. What I'm saying is, if I have an issue with you, I'm not going to say it on the air. I'm going to say it to you in private. I'm going to talk to you in private.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what William does, except that he also does that in public.
Right. Okay, right, and that's it's not a problem. It's just a different take on it, and therefore I don't really want to be involved. So I stay away from it.
The problem is that
There's
on
not
the
a
private
problem.
chat we have here, we had 6 messages or 8, and now we suddenly have like 97 just thanks to VAGINYL.
That's right, and he's backstage right now, saying, "Why can I not?" You know, it's like
because he has mean intentions.
I never blocked you. I don't even know who you are, fucker. Stunty, can you help?
Yeah, he like the whole purpose of this channel is
You think this isn't William?
To bully William. That's it.
But
he's saying he's gonna come on camera if you unblock him. So let him show.
I've never blocked this guy.
Don't play fucking games with the rooster thing, dude. Come on with your fucking face like all
right. All he has to do is turn on his camera or his mic, and I'll let him on the screen.
Yeah,
I already did earlier, and when I did earlier, he showed the TV and he showed his hands and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you notice, William was pointing out in his evidence video that his hands and his
that
arms.
was bullshit.
But then the next thing he's wearing gloves, so you can't see his hands. Look, man, whoever it is, come on up. Let's do it. Let's deal with it.
Safe and sound.
You blocked me from your channel's chat. That is all I want to do. And the name of this person is Why Can I Not Chat as VAGINYL? I don't know that person. I've never blocked you. I don't know.
Come on. Like, it's not a person. It's a tool for someone who exists in the real life and also maybe has a real internet persona. That's not his real internet persona. That's just a toy he has to bully William. We know it. And if we decide to give it more air, that's on us. I disagree with William on most things. I think he has a lot of issues that he doesn't control.
Yep.
At the same time, I see that I won't.
He's got a point, because this safe and sound VAGINYL guy is really fucking his life up, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fact that George is willing to put up with this, instead of just like bringing him back up on screen, even to just say something again. I mean, this is kind of, now I'm leaning towards George does know who this is. And he is talking to some people behind the scenes who are telling him, not only is it not Mark Glassman, they're telling him to say on air that it's not Mark Glassman. And something that George said to me in conversation, he said, everyone who I've talked to tells me it's not Mark Glassman. And so I said to him, who are you talking to? You're talking to Rob. You're talking to Rachel. You're talking to Norman. You're talking to all the same people who would all tell you it's not Mark Glassman. And you've said nothing in addition to that. You haven't said, well, it might be this guy. No, this is some O.J. Simpson stuff going on. It's just not him and it's nobody else. It's a hoax, right? Well, I heard somebody say that. It's kind of weird. Well, like I mentioned, why can I not chat is what he's saying. It's what he's bothering George. Well, why didn't he just ask that when he called in? But then you'll notice George very timidly says, Stunty, can you help? Like, oh, what, can the King Troll help? Stunty, you're right here. Let's solve the VAGINYL mystery right now. Well, I mean, you guys both basically did. But, it's funny because George, can't keep his thoughts straight because He's like, he goes from showing his hand, Stunty says it's bullshit, but then George says in there, he's wearing gloves now. So it's like funny how the bullshit comment is like stuck right in between there. And yeah, I think it's bullshit too. The very fact that he had to call in wearing a glove when he knew that's how we caught him. No, I don't think it's bullshit. It's a very distinctive hand. Like Rob said, hands are like snowflakes. And I'll say it again, we got you, Mark. But I got to play this next clip here.
If that's the case, then I apologize to William. I'm sorry that I mistook you for the vaginal guy. But on the other hand, what do you want me to do about it? Like, what can I do?
Has William asked you to do anything about it?
Yeah, of course he has. On his, a million times. He wants me to unblock him.
No.
Just like Vaginal does.
Oh yeah, to unblock.
And then sometimes he goes, he has a video where he goes, "This is me acting like Safe and Sound Vaginal. This is my safe and sound vaginal account, and this is where I did this and I did this, but this one's not me."
So did you guys notice right there how George can't even keep his thoughts straight? And I mean, that's just exactly how I was feeling having a conversation with him the other night. It was like I think he asked me to talk about the evidence, and as soon as I started talking about it, he was just like blah blah blah, try to change the subject. I'm not listening to you. And that's what it was like talking to George Borden the other night. And like I said, I wanted to leave our YouTube personalities on the shelf, and it ended up not happening. Anyway, I do have a few more things I want to say on that, but I guess that's the last clip from the 9th. And I played that on the 16th, Father's Day, this past Sunday, which George Borden would have had a show that night. And I am on the last page here, so we are wrapping things up. But VAGINYL made another appearance on the George Borden show. And we're going to go ahead and check it out here.
Hardly has any overdubs.
Right.
And it just, they got more on the tape. And if you have an original Warner Brothers, that's all you need. Or
that's how I feel the same way. I'm glad to have this copy, and this is my only copy. I don't need another one.
Okay.
So what are we doing now? Christ, man.
We have backstage chatter. Please let VAGINYL talk. He wants to talk music. I just want to talk. Go talk somewhere else, man.
I just saw that you got parodied already today or something, didn't you?
Who, me?
Yeah, your stream.
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
what a waste of energy for those people that do that shit.
It really is. Like,
I mean, hey, look, there's the hand. Did you see that? There was the hand. We saw the hand without a glove on. He just stuck his hand out. This is a big deal. Somehow this is going to be turned into why would I be hiding this person's identity?
I think I'm missing something here. I don't know.
There's another channel accusing me and Nick and Zeb, unfortunately, of hiding the identity of VAGINYL, because Nick just made the joke like, I know who you are. You know, I'm going to, I know who you are. I have ways of figuring this out. And then it turned into, we're plotting behind the scenes to hide the identity of this person. And now you have your screen, you showed your hand, you got your fish record up. Controversy. Wow, it's crazy.
Say something, idiot.
I understand people that in the peanut gallery that want to be anonymous, use a phony name. That's fine, and they have conversations. But once they start attacking and doing this bullshit, when you're when you're a tweaker and you use a phony name, you start going after someone, fuck you. And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're the problem, not us.
BS.
Well, again, I have to admit that the first time I saw the term come up on the screen, I thought it was somebody else, but then I was convinced that it was this person that you say that it is. But to be honest with you,
who cares?
Although he must have bad musical taste because he did show a what's
yeah,
that guy from South
Dave
Africa?
Matthews.
Yeah, so I wanted to point out there that Nick does not seem very tortured. He seems like the type of guy, like, stuff like that comes his way, he's going to go smoke a bowl. But anyway, I want to talk about how I actually had to convince George that it wasn't me. Because I was on the phone with him the other night. And I said to him, it's like, I can't believe you still think I'm vaginal. Because I show my face, I call into shows, I might troll a little bit on an account, but I'll show my face. I'm like Stunty. That's what Stunty does. But George still didn't believe me, and I told him, so that means you actually think I would put Denise's record cover into a phone app. Well, no, what I ended up saying to George is, I don't listen to that fucking bullshit. Dave Matthews Band and Fish, I fucking hate that dog shit. And then George believed that I wasn't fucking vaginal. So there you go. Well, whatever it takes to persuade you, George. I'm going to go ahead and play the next half of that clip where, well, privacy seems to be a concern here between Nick and George. And they talk about lawyer type stuff. Someone's brother is an attorney. Well, let's go ahead and just play it here.
This whole scene that just happened right here is not really what's bothering me. It's the stuff that's going on in private. There's my phone number has been acquired, and I'm getting texts during streams. Nick's getting personal emails. People are getting threatened with exposure about personal business and all of this stuff going on, and it's no longer just people trolling each other on YouTube and doing stuff. It's really sort of aggressive harassment behind the scenes, real, actual, legal type stuff. That's real harassment. And
that's fucked up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one way of saying it. The other way of saying it is it's also, illegal. And
we have more. My brother's friend is an attorney, and
what are you gonna do? This,
I happened to I asked, what it, if this, say, whatever, blah blah happened, what can somebody do? And he says, oh, you can absolutely, I can, get them, removed from whatever this platform is, whatever.
Well, I'm not looking to try to remove somebody from anything. I think look, when somebody dislikes me or something that I'm doing, there's validity in that. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a problem being disliked by people. That's fair and reasonable, and not everybody's for everybody, and I get all that. But when you spend so much time to go out of your way to try to really affect someone's life outside of whatever it is that you're going at, it becomes something a little bit different.
Yeah, so George mentioned his phone number has been acquired. More on that. Nick's getting personal emails. Well, actually, I got to bring a comment up here. Welcome to the show, Dusty Spins. Everyone is just having a laugh at this now. It's just humorous at this point. No one is taking this seriously, are they? Well, I don't know. Did you see that clip with George there? Talking of lawyers? I don't know. It seems like people are sure taking this stuff seriously. I don't know. Well, Dusty, they didn't go after you. VAGINYL hasn't really gone after your crew. So, I mean, this stuff probably is very funny to you, but that's all good. I mean, we're all, this is all, if you can have a laugh over this stuff, Dusty, by all means. But I don't think it's very funny. But I want to talk about someone acquiring George's phone number. Now, who sent George Borden that text in the 15th hour of his live stream that said, "Go to bed, George"? Well, it was me. And how did I get George Borden's phone number? Well, Zeb created a premiere video, and this is something like midnight, maybe 3 months ago. And in the video, Nick Fantasy has given me George Borden's phone number. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and read this conversation basically as it sort of reads. And I actually sent this to George to let him know that your phone number is in one of Zeb's videos, and sent him the link. And he says, okay, he posted it twice. It says, "William, George would like to speak to you," with the phone number there, posted again. And I ignored it. And I told him, I don't want to give my phone number out. Can you guys just give me like a StreamYard link or something? So we ended up chatting on a backstage StreamYard link. So it was me, Nick, George, and Zeb. Well, George even says in this conversation, "William, come to us." Like, he wants me to be an ally. And I'm like, totally cool. And I think maybe George sees me as a live streamer, and maybe I'm drawing an audience or whatnot, and that's cool. But, this seems to be like maybe they're being supportive of me. They want to be friends and all that. I just didn't want to give him my number. And I really had no intention to fuck with George. But on this 15th hour, and I'm like, what's going on here? He ain't really saying anything. I just went back into that chat and I just sent him a text, "Go to bed, George." And that was it. Just to fuck with him a little bit, because I kind of think that's what he's doing with us. And that's actually what he did with me that night, that episode. Still calling me the VAGINYL account, throwing me under the bus all overnight while I was asleep. And then the funny thing about it, I had just finished that live stream. I'm a little bit suspect of George on this one, because I think maybe he went 15 hours to get people to stop from watching my live stream. And the funny thing about what happened overnight in his live stream is he started giving you guys a bunch of fucking bullshit about the VAGINYL account, while I made a 2-hour video hours earlier giving you more evidence, more facts. So I don't know. I did take that into consideration. I wasn't too happy about it, but it is what it is. He can live stream for his entire life if he really wants to. But I guess I want to talk more about the phone call with George, because literally his phone number was given to me by Nick. George actually, I don't know if he sent Nick a text or sent him the photo that I sent him, but then allegedly Nick's response is, "I didn't send you, I would never post your phone number in the chat." Well, according to my screenshot, Nick Fantasy with the wrench. Nick is now trying to accuse a fake Nick Fantasy, who also just happens to have George Borden's phone number, of posting that number in the chat. Well, I actually did go back and I looked in the chat. It does look like the phone number's been deleted, which is good. But one thing that George tried to accuse me of is I put my own license plate in my video that VAGINYL ended up doxing. That's not the case. My license plate is not in the video. If you are just to sit there and watch the video, my license plate does not appear. What you have to do is you have to pause it at the right hair of a second, and then you have to reverse it. Because if you'll notice, my shirt is on backwards. So you have to make the extra effort to find out what my license plate is, and then go around and drop it in a chat. Because that video got hundreds of views, and I can promise you that very few people took the effort to figure out what my license plate is. So no, my license plate is not in that video. You have to sort of unlock it on your own, and you have to make that extra effort. And by the way, when I slowed it down, my license plate is just so blurry anyway that you would seriously have to make it clear or do something. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I did not throw my driver's license out in the video like Nick dropped your phone number. That is something completely different. Okay. And then in fact, to call you on the phone, there could be reason for that. Like we might need to have a discussion like maybe we did the other night. There's no reason for anyone in the VC or anyone in the manosphere even to have my driver's license plate. Get the hell out of here. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and play this next clip. It is a few minutes from... So, okay, Tokyo Record Style. I guess we are wrapping things up here. Brian. And he's a Fish fan. And I guess he's been having a bond with a VAGINYL account in regards to Fish. Well, he has some very important words for VAGINYL. And this is something that I basically said to him on a live stream. Because I said to VAGINYLs, like, you know, this is the VC. I can see that you're hanging around in the VC a lot. You want to make friends, listen to music, and talk about music. And that's cool. I don't want to stop you from doing that. That's not what the purpose of making this video is. But as a fellow Fish fan, Brian echoes a lot of what I had to say. So I'm going to go ahead and play this first clip here.
So Brian, you didn't come on here to talk about Tom Waits. You wanted to come on here to talk about something before that, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, I was going to say, I actually, you know, I don't really want to talk about it. I got called out a little bit for streaming for the first time, but I'm actually in the streaming business and have been for a decade. And I'm not in this YouTube vinyl community space, but I had a stream the other day with just me and my pal, and I had him on, and I was like, let's just talk about Fish, because I think we're at a watershed moment with this band that we've loved for so long, because they were in the zeitgeist for the Sphere shows, and I said, let's help people get into this band. And we got on the I was like, it'll just be you and me, like I don't care if anybody comes. But somehow it got like I'm suddenly trying to overtake, I don't know, come on and do something. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But Mazzy, thanks for shouting out the stream or tuning into it. But
Mazzy went to take a dump. He'll be back in a second.
That's fine. But
No.
but one of the very few viewers that we had on the stream was OGV. Oh, I keep trying to rebrand his name, but Vag. And I came up with a clever name, but and I'm not calling him out. Actually, I am calling him. I'm not calling him out.
He's backstage. He's backstage right now, spamming the shit out of the show.
Dude, like, okay, here's the deal.
By the way, he said that your stream was the best one ever. By the way, just so you know.
I'm flattered by that, but but dude, he showed. Let me just give you some perspective. He showed Clifford Ball box set on your stream moments ago. Before that, he showed New Year's '95 on, and before that, he showed a Hoist record on another stream, and he showed records that are all very, you guys don't know, but very, very expensive, rare, highly desirable, highly coveted records that are in the thousands of dollars price range. These things sell out quickly, like Ween's kind of fans. And people don't flip they buy them to flip, but they also buy them because they love them. And he's got these records which indicate he's a very big head, very big. I don't have those records, and I'm one of the biggest heads I know, and because they're prohibitively expensive. And he told me that, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a little embarrassed that, like, we have this great community in Fish, and we have this great, like, resurgence and interest, and, like, people are genuinely like, okay, maybe it's time to stop making fun of this band. And yet we have these, like, goofballs who are, like, just pranksters. I get it. Like, it's fine. But when everybody's asking for you to just play along and be nice and, like, be part of the community, like, Vaz, just, like, get on board, dude, so we can celebrate music and don't give all of us Fish heads, like, a bad name. That's what I want to say. Like,
all right, so Brian makes some good points here. And he does, I'm going to play another clip that's about a couple minutes long here. I'm going to drop the StreamYard link. And if anyone wants to come up, has any questions, wants to discuss this at all, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think this is a joke? Any questions you guys have, I'm going to go ahead and play the next clip. And then if no one calls in, I might just call it a show.
Of course, you know, there's this term in fish land, which you may have heard before, wook. W-O-O-K, as in like Wookie. Like, does everybody know this term?
Yeah, Chewbacca. This sounds like hippie shit to me.
It kind of is, but you go to a dead lot or you go to a fish lot, you're gonna see wooks, and wooks are sort of like, you know, spangers. They're guys who just like, you know, can I bum a cigarette? Can I bum a balloon? Can I bum a ticket? Can I bum anything off of you? Kind of people who have dreads and dogs and, you know, and it's fine. Like, no judgment, but
no judgment.
Like it's just like we're kind of like in a post-wook world
job,
a little bit. And I mean, I don't want to. I'm tired of defending this band and its fans for jokesters and pranksters and like troublemakers. Not that I'm calling Vag a troublemaker, but like everybody wants to just talk about music, and I was really excited to find somebody else who's passionate in the VC about fish, and I'm bummed that he's like this controversial character that everybody's trying to you know, figure out. And I just want to say, like, dude, just like let's move on, and let's talk about let's get it out there. Let's talk about music, and okay, fine, you don't want to be like a you know, on-screen personality. Find some other way to fucking validate yourself so that nobody is like constantly talking about you. And like that's all I'm saying. Like yeah. So
I
yeah.
hate to see a Fisher king getting so upset here.
I'm not upset, but I'm
there's a little level of high anxiety here, Brian.
See,
no.
See,
I don't.
Fish heads don't get angry, man. They say, "Hey, can we smoke a joint and talk about it?" You know, they don't get
not
pissed,
even, dude.
That's a good point, Vinyl Richie, and you know, I kind of think that's a good place to leave off for this episode. And I was going to get more into a few like Rachel's Ghost clips from earlier in this week, but I may do another episode on this. I'm not sure. I want to be able to wrap this up here soon, which I mean, for the most part, it is. It's just kind of seeing these silly little antics over the last week. I kind of just felt like I need to address. And then, you know, people still kind of talking a little bit of shit, but I do think it's time to sort of move on. And with that said, I mean, I just would really like to see the VAGINYL account, whoever you are, if you could just remove the photo of Denise and the parody. Okay? And I understand your argument of free speech. However, I have enough evidence of stalking and harassment. And so I no longer consider that free speech. You've said that you're using the photo and the parody to agitate me. So therefore, your intentions fall under the same behavior you've been giving me over the last 3 months, truthfully, since February 19th, when you decided to add me to your parody page. And it truthfully has been nonstop ever since then. And he was having an important guest. I'm going to bring him on here. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. I think I've enjoyed myself the most today.
Oh, you know what? I mean, here's the thing. Writing this stuff is not easy. And I was just sitting here preparing video clips and trying to make notes. And then I even had like maybe another hour of video I could be showing you. Probably a good place to stop, though. And then I did want to get someone up here, and maybe you and I could have a great conversation about this.
Yep.
And I don't know, what are your thoughts so far?
Well, you know, I mean, a lot of people were saying, you know, why are we talking about this? Haven't we covered this enough? And, you know, and it's like, well, you're just grinding it in, you know? I mean, you're basically saying, I'm going to just keep showing the evidence, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, either you like it or you don't. And me, I think it's so funny. So.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely thought, like, I want to find a stopping point here soon, because, I mean, I've told the story and everyone's formed their opinion. And honestly, I could go back, show more evidence, but I think the strongest evidence has been in the last 3 weeks. And just
the expensive fish records is like, that is the big reveal to me. right? Because it's like I had no idea that there are records like that that are what, tens of thousands of dollars. Is that the story here?
A lot of what that is he just gets a lot of those like when they first come out. So if he's a huge Fish fan, he might be getting those like from their website as they come out, and then those people will buy like 3 copies so they can sell them or whatever. So
Gotcha.
I mean, William the Flipper, I know how all that stuff goes, but
Okay.
I'm gonna read a few comments here because we got Dave Pounds here, who I know is
he doesn't like this.
Well, he's a big,
he rubs it in the wrong way.
Well, he's a big fan of the Waxed. So it's just, yeah. So how much time did you spend playing detective on all this pointless nonsense? It's not pointless, Dave Pounds, but you should have been spending time working on content and building your channel instead of this useless nonsense. I think this is a great way to build my channel. And this, not only am I, exposing Fancy Pants, in addition, I'm exposing the cancel culture, movement, the philosophy of Rachel's Ghost and how they treat people. And this is exposing them. And I mean, I just want to throw this out there. I think they're showing more records and they're trying to get, back on track. So it's funny how you accuse me of that, Dave Pounds. We've been trying to call out Rachel's Ghost on that. And I think they've been doing a little bit better.
This is the content. This is the content and you're watching it. So.
Yeah. And this stuff isn't easy. I mean, detective work is like, I'm giving you guys evidence, and it's like I check myself out on this stuff,
right?
And it's like this stuff isn't easy. Preparing all these,
it's boring, laborious work. You gotta just like, it ain't elegant. It's not glamorous work.
And the other thing, I don't want to overexpose this type of stuff. No more than 1 video a week, and I'm real on that, but. I mean, I wanted to take a month off and enjoy my summer. And it's like, I've done my research. The only thing that I'm worried about is more personal information getting out. And that's all I'm really keeping track of. And I mean, I have enough evidence from live streams getting those personal calls in the middle of my live stream. I mean, that right there is evidence. And
right.
I mean, sometimes it's just, coming my way, but I guess,
But I made a point earlier, and that is all I've seen in the VC has been self-doxing. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean,
yeah. Well, VAGINYL was truthfully taunting me, and I think
no, he was taunting you.
You were on one of my Saturday night live streams where he was giving us all this information on who he was, and he was telling us he was from Canada. He alluded to that he was part of, he was a big time VCer.
Yep.
And he was giving us information and I was keeping track of it. I knew it was probably Fancy Pants, but it was like, the thing is, the reason why I didn't want to just say, oh, you're Fancy Pants is because I'm also trying to figure out who is Fancy Pants. So I don't want, like, a couple people would just tell me, oh, it's probably just Fancy Pants. And I'm like, duh. This is the one guy who gives this much of a fuck about me and who keeps harassing me on whatever half dozen accounts he's using today. But welcome, Mr. Arnie Zanzibar and Porch Pinal. What's up, Encyclopedia Brown? He's from Missouri. He's a fellow troll here, but I always welcome his. I can take it. Here's the thing: is if I'm sitting here on my channel dishing it out, I really can't. I gotta accept it a little bit when it comes my way, I guess. But
yeah.
And Invisible Ray, thanks for being here. I hope you like the Beetle Babe parody. I kind of did that with you in mind. So I hope you like that one. But I want to bring this up. Johnny Paranoid, a new member to the VC, or probably Fancy Pants. But why do you care about any of this? It's all pointless drama. Do you enjoy it? Well, why are you even here? You're the guy who I told you to go find something better to do in the first place. That's the thing that I've been telling everybody. If I'm not for you, then just go away.
Right.
But it's like, what I'm trying to say here is we have uncovered probably the biggest story in the last year, probably since the Michael 45 controversy.
It is the story. Like it or not, it is the story.
Yeah, it is what it is. And the thing is, why I try and bring this information out is a lot of people are either brushing this under the rug, saying I'm wrong, or saying I'm lying. And I'm not doing anything like that here. I'm showing my face. I'm showing video. I'm showing evidence. I'm time stamping stuff. I'm not presenting anything that I think is bullshit. I want to mention one thing, Michael, though. Yeah. Because I mentioned the Gone But Not Forgotten account.
Yeah, that's that I gotta that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way because you know he's a nice guy. I mean, he's a Jehovah's Witness and he has strong beliefs, and his beliefs run counter to certain things that are spoken on Rachel's stream, and they go back. That's an old beef.
Yeah.
But to go to other channels and to preempt their experience of him, I think is wrong.
Well,
let Sarah find out what he's about.
Yeah.
Don't fucking step in and preempt and get him blocked. That's fucked up.
But Sarah's falling into everything that Rachel tells her.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's sad to see, and it's like even it's almost like wrenches are now, if you are okay with Rachel, you can now have a wrench. It is starting to get like that. And I'll tell you what, that's when chat rooms stop being fun.
Right. It's all for the subs.
And there's even like, certain people get protected who don't have wrenches even, but
yeah. Well, Mark's getting a lot of protection, isn't he?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's for sure. Well, we got Mr. Marius Stark here. Welcome. I was thinking, Stark, I don't know what you think of this. I was doing this movie theme called Stranger Than Pulp Fiction. I'm starting to wrap my head around maybe like, could we turn this into a VC movie? Like maybe, I don't know. I mean, this stuff is just so wild that I almost feel like you have to make it into like a movie that we could all like almost kind of be entertained by, because coming on here and telling the story, a lot of the stuff is bizarre, and especially with people using multiple accounts and, we weren't knowing. And even, I would even say that May 8th footage of George Borden and all the hands and stuff, that was some wild stuff. And, I don't know. I just think maybe it would be might be a fun way to wrap this up and make us all laugh. But Arnie Zanzibar with the, hey, it's Wyoming Slave. Yeah, he made a few appearances here. You know what, Arnie Zanzibar? There are quite a few more VC slaves roaming around there, believe it or not, if you can't tell. It's true. It's true. There are people doing dirty work for nothing. There are people butt kissing for nothing, and it's disgusting. No, it's sad. It's funny, though, too, Michael. I see the humor. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's just like seeing people go around. Like, I've seen people go around and like, I got to go defend Concert Buddy for some reason. Why? It's like, let Concert Buddy defend Concert Buddy.
Right.
But,
it's soldiers. Yeah. It's foot soldiers, Yeah.
We believe you, William. I would keep private convos private, though. And, okay, the only reason I was mentioning the conversation with George is we just had such a conflict. And then he accused me of being vaginal, and I just had to call him out on it. And, I mean, that's been a core philosophy of mine. But George, in my opinion, getting way out of hand. And, I mean, and the other thing, Michael, I know you like George, and I don't want anything that I say to like ruin your relationship. I want you to be
have much of a relationship these days.
Okay, well, I mean,
to be honest with you.
No, I mean, this is some weird stuff, and I would like to take a break.
Yeah.
And enjoy my summer and not think about VC stuff, but then also come back and just like have a nice solid DJ set. Go get some Actually, I'm supposed to meet up with someone to get some records tomorrow. Hopefully,
good.
Keep my fingers crossed.
Well, the calendar is going to be dictating to you because July 4th is right around the corner. So, summer's on.
Yeah. Anyway, I like reading this guy's comments. Let me see. This has all been set up by the Wax, the guy with tracksuit issues that relies heavily on Nick Rudeau for last-minute favors. According to Lord Mazzy, Wax's behavior doesn't belong on this planet. I mean, it's funny that you say that. I've been thinking about making this video. Things that Wax says, but then Mazzy says on another stream that completely contradict what Wax just said. I don't know. Like, the funny thing about, like, I've been going back, clipping stuff out, watching old stuff, and I'm just like, all of a sudden, like, whoa, I could take everything out of context and make all these guys look like it. No, we'll see. But I might do that. Maybe I'll look into doing something like that. But I wanted to mention something about his tracksuits because Arnie was sort of calling him out for having the 7-foot tracksuit. And I know that I think Beetle Babe threw him under the bus at having a bad troll joke or something. But I think it's a great troll joke because it's true. Those tracksuits are like oversized and just huge. It's like he's just like swimming in those things. You know why
he never stands up. How can you guys come to this conclusion? He's always seated in a position. So how do you see the full body? You only saw the full body when he was in the kitchen at Harry's house, right? And briefly in a record store, and that's when you did see a bit of a paunch there.
Yeah.
So, but you know, he does wear the same outfits every day. It's kind of like he bought off on the Steve Jobs thing just a little bit too much.
You know why he wears the 7-foot tracksuit though?
Tell me.
It's because he has to cover up the fact that he has no muscles while he's walking around Muscle Beach. So I sort of bounced. I rebounded off of Arnie's joke.
Yes,
there.
you did. Yes, you did. But Arnie watches a lot of the stuff. You know, you do too.
Well, I mean, dude, Arnie cracked the case. You know.
He did crack the
this
case.
whole thing. He's a lot smarter than anyone gives him credit for. Legendary troll. Love having you here, Arnie. But he says here, let's face it, RG Channel is dead. It's boring. The only entertaining moments are when Wax blows a gasket and Mazzy lets slip that he's received another LP for comments. So, you know, I mean, that's the humor out of the show. It's the foolishness and the stupidity. Hey, I've offered it some of it to the show myself. I will confess, but let's see. I think a short video edit of Wax making a fool out of himself on Tomatoes would be good. I mean, we actually have enough comments. He's not called into the show because I noticed that he doesn't really call into any other show other than Rachel and then his own. But yeah. But we got Tap Records here too. A DJ set would be dope. I saw your DJ set the other night. He was playing that like that 1980s like them funk jams. When I was a DJ, we called that hood music. So not like that's true hood music, like post disco, but still funky. It's like Quiet Storm. Think Earth, Wind, and Fire, but like you could get really deep with that stuff. Like, you know, Kashif is one of my favorites, but good set. Tap Records. That was right before the premiere that I had, so I did tune in and enjoy some of those chats there. But yeah, let me see. We got I ripped off the 7-foot tracksuit gag from the pickup bar. Okay, well
there you go. That's where it got started.
I know it's great how we can bounce off all these jokes and tell original ones ourselves. But VC movie vinyl collecting is boring enough as a subject. We might compete with new woke Star Wars. Maybe we might as well do a documentary piece on Wyoming Dave to keep the suspense going.
I'm not going there.
I almost got a new nickname for him, and that's Watchdog Dave, because I mean, I just kind of feel like whenever I see him up on a live stream, it's just like he's watching there like this. I almost feel like he's just watching the chat looking for someone to be like, oh, hey, George, can you ban this guy real quick? I'm like, oh, who's hurting your feelings? Oh, sure, no problem. So, I mean, that's what he did on my stream, on one of the Saturday night streams. He's like, oh, hey, man. I mean, okay, first off, he's a nice guy.
Yes.
And I don't, whatever, but
he's a major guest. He's a major guest. He's a guest on all the live streams now.
He's like the quiet Mazzy. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? Anyways, gosh, is there anything you have here that you want to add?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think you're gonna get a lot of viewership for this video. I think people like it. I mean, what are you averaging, like 500 views for these things after you're done? Not
Honestly,
too shabby.
I'm not concerned about the views on this. It's more about
don't be modest.
Well, no, it's truthfully about getting the information out. And then also I sort of have, with all these like false confessions, I do feel like I need to be like, okay, got to call this stuff out a little bit. So I want to get to a point where I want to make, real videos, talk about music and records and all that again.
Good.
But this is a story and I want to wrap it up and tell it right. And you know, I mean, that's the thing. It's really up to them. It's really up to Mark. And I mean that because, I mean, think of it this way. As soon as he just removes the parody that he's done on Denise, I mean, imagine how many things will get better for him. I'm not talking about me.
Take it down, Mark. Take down the Denise video.
It's
Just
about
do it.
It's about earning trust again with people and salvaging your reputation as best as you can. Otherwise, I mean, it might be necessary to take a few months off from the VC. And something Jason Rojas says is like you might be taking the VC a little bit too seriously.
He says that a lot.
No, it's a common phrase he uses. And I want to, on that note, I mean, when you're going around, I mean, I just feel like there's an obsession with my life that you have that I can't really understand. And that's called taking things too seriously. It's called taking the parody game too seriously. It's so serious to you that you have to understand my personal life rather than just look at the video I make and try to make a parody out of what I say on my channel. Anyways, I really, I mean, I don't want to, you know, you haven't been very nice to me or any of my friends, but, you know, I can see you want to still hang out. And I just encourage you, just as best as you can, salvage your reputation. If you want to be a parody artist, that's cool. But, you know, you might have to clean the game up a little bit. And, you know, I mean, the parody game can be a little bit dirty. You know that. You've seen some of Davey's videos, but I mean, at least Davey doesn't get that personal with people. He doesn't chase you around the internet looking for, you know, who your employer is and stuff like that's not cool. That's not trolling at that point.
That's stalking.
Yeah, it's stalking. You've lost the art of trolling.
Right.
You know? Or it's like you know, it's like Arnie Zanzibar will just show up in a chat and all of a sudden you might just get a troll comment. It might be a comment, but it's rarely is it going to be like, you know, a dozen. You're not going to see a dozen Arnie Zanzibar comments unless, like, you know, maybe it was in the tomato chat we were all going at it a little bit. But okay, 1 minute here. And Michael, get out of William's head. He needs a vacation. Thanks, Marius.
I missed that one.
No, yeah, no. Good for looking out for us. I mean, that's what you're here for. But
yeah,
I would like to. I mean, I know you just got back from vacation. I want to see some more parodies. That's what I'm missing. But maybe we could be on this guy right here, Dave Pounds, the old man from Japan. You lower yourself to partake in this nonsense, aren't you? Why? You know, I want to say this now that we've. I want to wrap this whole stuff up. Rice patties. Stop using this phrase. You know, go to the rice patties, because here's the truth of that. When you're going to the rice patties, you're going to hang out with Mark. I mean, really, because here, okay, I wanted to say this about Davey's parody on me and what the message he was really trying to send out to Mark, because Davey kind of sees Mark for who he is. He's a goofy little troll, and Davey's is just like, you can come out and hang out here with us. It's cool. We'll be your friend and we'll be nice. And I think even like Fred Dobbs is kind of saying that too, because Fred Dobbs has sent me a few messages being like, well, VAGINYL's trying to be nice to me now. And so, like, you know what, maybe that's what I'm trying to say is like, we want to give you a chance. I don't want to be mad at you for very much longer or ever. But anyway, I don't know. I sort of think that's a good spot to wrap up.
Yeah.
Michael, I'm going to hang out backstage if you want to chat for a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and take y'all out with some music. And
bye.
And yeah, I did the theme. This is the San Andreas Grand Theft Auto music. So I don't know. It sure fits well with what I guess for what I'm doing here, I thought it fit well, but